Hey gang, Nate Bear here, lead technical tactician for Monument Traders Alliance and Trade of the Day. And in today's video, I'll be revealing and breaking down my unique TPS trading system. And not only is this the system that's the basis for all of the trades on this channel, but it's also the secret sauce that's helped me make millions of dollars in the market. And I want to show it to you today, right now, for free. So let's dive right in. So let me pull up my charts and we will start to break down my TPS trading system. So what does that stand for? T stands for trend, P stands for pattern, and S stands for squeeze. And let's take a look at each of those individually. So when I'm looking at a chart, I want to see a few things. There's lots of charts out there, tons of charts that you could trade. The first thing that I want to look for is a trend. Is the chart trending? I'm not a huge fan of trading, choppy charts. And we've all seen them where they just sort of go up and down and they don't really break out of a range. It's just left to right. There's no vertical movement. It's just staying within a range. Well, that's fine, but that's not for me what I want to focus on. So I'm looking for either a chart that is starting in the upper left and moving down, it's trending lower, or a chart that's starting in the bottom left and moving up, it's trending higher. So a trend is also something that you should look at and be able to identify quickly. If you look at a chart for more than about 3 seconds and you can't figure out if it's trending higher or lower, chances are it's not trending. So for me, it's a pass. The next component of my system is P, pattern. So the thing about trading patterns, right, is patterns appear in stocks, not all the time, but they do come up every so often, right? And when we see these patterns, again, the same thing, they just sort of jump off the chart and you see the patterns like, oh, I've seen that before. I've seen that before. I have a pretty good idea of what's happening in this chart, what's happening with this stock, what's causing this stock to form that pattern. And then by extension, what happens next, right? So, there's lots of patterns out there. There's lots of different, you can get so complicated. But for me, I trade more or less one pattern. I'm looking for either a bull flag, right, or a bear flag. So a pattern where the stock price goes up and then you have this period of consolidation near that high, or the price can go down and the same thing, you have this period of consolidation near the low. So for me, I'm looking to trade one of these patterns in my system. The third component, S, stands for squeeze. And this is really simple. This is just an indicator. And when all the charts that I'm going to show you on this channel are going to have the same indicator down here at the bottom, the squeeze indicator. And when these dots turn red, that tells me that there is a squeeze. What does that mean? Well, it simply means that price is in a consolidation period, right? So you have a couple of different things that happen with stocks. They're either moving up, they're moving down, or they're going sideways. Now, I don't necessarily want to be a buyer of stocks when they're going up. I don't necessarily want to be a seller of stocks when they're going down. What I want to look for is that period of consolidation, that rest period between moves. And I'll break that down a little further. But essentially, when I have red dots here, that tells me that the stock has had a chance to rest and it's ready for the next leg of its journey. Think of it like a long distance runner. Let's say there's a race and somebody's going to run from New York to Florida. Well, they're not going to run that race, that leg in one long leg, right? The price doesn't go straight up or straight down, right? It works in waves. So you'll have a move higher, a consolidation period, and another move higher. Just like a runner, right? You run, you take a rest, you get some carbs, you get some Gatorade, and you go for the next leg of your journey. Same thing with stocks. It's the exact same thing. So we're using that indicator to tell us, hey, this stock has had a chance to rest, and now it is ready to go on the next leg of its journey. So let's take a look at a few examples. The first example here is Netflix. And if I zoom out, again, I want to keep things so simple with this system. I've got 4 kids. I've got tons of responsibility. I need my trading system to not only be consistent and work, but I need it to be simple. I need to be able to sit down, identify quickly whether a setup is valid, whether a setup is not valid, and take a trade and then go on about my day. I don't have time to sit and stare at 1-minute charts all day long. Maybe in my younger days, but at this point in my life, I want things to be simple. The more simplicity, the better, right? So very quickly, is this chart trending? Is it starting at the bottom left and working towards the upper right? Yes, absolutely. It sure is. Now let's dive in. Let's take a look here. Now, do we have a pattern? Well, here's our flagpole, and I've got this really nice pennant setting up. So yeah, I've got a pattern, right? So T, trend, check. P, pattern, check. Do I have a squeeze? Do I have red dots on the indicator here? I sure do. So that's 3 components that have all come together: trend, pattern, and squeeze. Now, what happens? Let's zoom forward. Let's fast forward a little bit. And here we go. This is the result of the Netflix trade. Now, trend, pattern, and squeeze. You enter when these dots are red, and you look for the move to continue higher, just like we just talked about. We look for that move, consolidation, and then another move. The continuation of that move is a perfect example here in Netflix. Let's look at another chart. And this works in both directions, by the way. So this is a chart of Tesla, and again, a daily chart of Tesla. And as you can see, in Tesla, are we trending? Is this stock moving consistently in one direction or another? Is it moving from the top left to the bottom right? In this case, yeah, it sure is, right? So this one is trending down, and Tesla has had a pretty rough year in 2022. I don't think anybody would argue that it's trending down. So the next thing I look for is, okay, well, do I have a pattern? Do I have a pattern here in Tesla? Again, flagpole, right? Pattern of consolidation right underneath, right above, in this case, these lows. So I do have a pattern. And then the third component, do I have a squeeze? Do I have red dots down on my indicator? I sure do, right? So I've got trend, pattern, squeeze. Pretty simple, right? All 3 of the components are here. I'm allowed to take a trade. And again, if we fast forward a couple of days, we can see the results of this trade. Tesla breaks those lows and capitulates, right? Down, down, and down. So again, here's our pattern. We're looking for the next leg of this journey, right? That's exactly what happens here in Tesla. TPS, simple yet incredibly effective. Another example, this is Coinbase. Lots of news lately, and that's fine. You know, people trade news all the time. I'm not particularly the best at taking a piece of news and then telling you what the resulting stock is, the price is going to do, right? Like I say all the time, I joke around, you could give me tomorrow's news today, and I still need a pattern, I still need to squeeze, and I still need a trend in order to take a trade. So here we have Coinbase. And again, are we trending? It's a pretty simple question. Are we trending? Are we going from either the top left to the bottom right, or the bottom left to the top right? And in this case, absolutely, right? Top left here to bottom right. Pretty obvious. This is trending down. Okay, cool. Do we have a pattern of consolidation near a low? And again, I think we sure do here, right? So we've got this move down, and then we've got this pattern consolidation near these lows. And I love when I see this where price sort of comes in and it tests the same level multiple times. It's called a shelf, and price is being sort of held above that shelf. What happens if this shelf breaks is you have a couple of different things. You've got longs that say, screw it, I'm out. You've got shorts that pile in and say, I love this. I just think this is going to zero. I'm going to get short immediately. And you have this flood of orders that hit at the same time when you have one of these shelves that break. So we have all 3 components: trend, pattern, and squeeze. And if we go forward a few days, we can see exactly what happens here. That shelf breaks, and look out below, right? So the same exact system, the same exact methodology. We have our trend, we have our pattern, we have our squeeze. We get short, and we look for that shelf to break. All right, so one of the things I want you to sort of take away from this is the simplicity of the system. Like I said, I've got a lot of responsibility. I need my system to work, to be consistent, and to be simple. So I hope you found this video on my TPS system informative. And if you ever need a refresher course, feel free to bookmark this page, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if there's a company that you want me to look at, leave a comment down below, and I'll try to hit it in the next update. If you want to check out my latest trade setup, you can do so now by clicking in the top right-hand corner of this video. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.